Today is a new opportunity to accomplish your incredible. So let's wake up each day with a fresh mindset necessary for you to win. I welcome you to Rise and Shine. Morning motivation for the girl boss with author, speaker, and founder of the Prestige Society, Nicole Doss. Let's jumpstart your morning now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. I pray that you wake this morning with a renewed spirit. I pray that you wake this morning feeling absolutely invincible. I pray that you wake this morning feeling like a girl boss lit on fire and operating on nothing but her purpose. Good morning. So today's word, let's jump right into it. It's super easy. It's the word think. Now, the word is simple to say and, of course, to be able to interpret as far as what you do, right? You think about things, you think about stuff, you think about life, you think about your business, you think about how to make your business bigger than what it is today, you think about how to make money off of your business. Think, it's pretty easy. But let me tell you, it's not that easy. What's currently happening is that we are constantly in a state of information nonstop being fed into our brains. Whether we see it through the constant streaming of information through things like YouTube, or if we see it in constant scrolling of one's timeline, whether you're looking at Facebook or Instagram, you are constantly being fed information that is driving you to think. What's happening with my girl bosses out there is that you don't even realize this is how you're being programmed. You have no idea that this is all by design, that every day intentional seeds are being planted to make you think, to make you act, to make you do certain things. And it's taking you off course. It's taking you away from what you are supposed to be focused on. It's making you want things that have nothing to do with the purpose, mission, and vision of your business. It's making you worry. When yet it says worry not in the Bible, right? Be anxious over nothing. But yet it's making us constantly go in competition with one another. It's making us think about how we look. It's making us think who's going to accept us. It is taking us away from our purpose. It is distracting us. And I'm here today to bring awareness to that very word that in the beginning we thought was so simple, and that's think. I want you to begin to take inventory of what your mind dwells on on a steady basis. I like to go to definitions of words because I feel like sometimes we do the thing that all teachers tell you never to do, which is never to define a word with the word. So, when you're like, oh, so what does the word think mean? Oh, it means to think about something. No, that's not the definition. So the definition I grabbed offline was to direct one's mind towards something or someone. To direct one's mind towards something or someone. So when I began to think about what thinking on or dwelling or placing my thoughts actively on the wrong thing could do to me or do to the girl boss, I realized that we need to be more accountable about what is feeding our minds, what's feeding our children's minds, what's feeding our loved ones' minds. Because ultimately, you will become completely molded by the very thing you continually place into your mind. When I think about it for me, I think about it from the state of what I love to watch on Monday nights. I'm a huge fan of love and hip hop, so I used to be. And I gotta tell you, I mean, I was just like unapologetically inspired by, not inspired, but entertained by Ratchet TV. I mean, come on, everyone should have the ability to get some sort of guilty pleasures in life. But then I realized that I wasn't doing certain things during the times that I was placing my mind on that thing. And then I started to say, well, what else are you doing? So I like to binge watch some episodes on Netflix. Like, that's a thing. We all do it. And then I had to think about what happens when I try to really do some really great things while I'm binge watching those things. So I was like reading a book. I don't know who in the world thought I could read a book and binge watch Flash. But I figured, well, if it's really Gabby watching this show, then I can still read this book that's supposed to like feed my soul, right? So no, that's not right. I really struggled. I could not do two things. I am that person where when the TV is on, it sucks me in and I'm just looking stupid. I mean, my mouth is open, I'm staring. Like, all of that is definitely happening when I'm watching TV. So therefore, that means that I am constantly watching something about these alternate universes with Earth 1 and Earth 2 and this guy who can run really fast. And all of that is being poured into my mind and poured into my spirit for how long? I mean, if one episode is an hour, but yet we're binge watching multiple episodes, how many hours am I wasting on frivolous information that is not putting me anywhere closer to my purpose? I have to be mindful of what I am thinking about, because you can be in a state, and I call it the zombie state, where you aren't thinking about much of nothing because you are putting nothing in your mind. A whole bunch of nothing that's talking about nothing, that's about nothing or about nonsense, and that's what you're putting in your mind. I had to reset, because everyone knows my theme word for 2019 is growth, and I can't have growth if I'm sitting here hours upon hours thinking about nothing. Oh, and put it on and cook. I have an open, layout in my home so I can see the TV and cook at the same time. Let's do it. Let's go. So we really need to be mindful. When you're sitting there and you're gossiping with someone, you got to think about, what are you putting your mind on? You're putting your mind on trash. You're putting your mind on things that are not going to allow you to receive an abundance on your life. You are spending time focusing energy and your mind on an activity that has nothing to do with you living in your purpose. The scripture says, and don't ask me which one, because I'm like Medea. And if you don't get that cultural reference, please go and just Google it. So I will Medea up a scripture in a heartbeat. So I'm just going to tell you what the scripture says. Just don't ask me which one. I think it's Proverbs, but don't take my word for it. Just type it in and see where it lands. Yeah. So here it is. It says, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. What in the world does that mean? That means that what you think is what you become. If you are a girl boss who is constantly watching things like Love and Hip Hop, then you are truly going to believe that a 22 to 24 inch weave and long stiletto point nails and a Gucci bag and maybe some Balenciagas are going to be the very ingredient necessary for you to win. You may even think that you got to get your boo up on some type of music industry thing so that you can to win and then start this business and be on TV. Maybe you too will believe that you have to sell your soul and do really bad and ratchet things so that you can get a check, just so that you can remain relevant, because you don't believe enough in your purpose, but you only believe in the smoke mirrors that are placed in front of you, and that's what you think it'll take for you to be able to make your brand or your business successful. Let me tell you something. When you are placing things that are not of substance in front of you, when you're allowing it to take up all of your time, when you're allowing it to fill your very spirit and your very being, guess what's happening? Oh my goodness. You will become that. You will operate in that space. You will speak like that. And we all know that is not growth. That's not growth. That's not how you make it. How are you going to be encouraged and motivated at some point to do all these great things in your purpose if this is what you watch? See, what should happen is that when you are moving more and more into your purpose, you begin to watch these things and realize, ugh, I don't have time for this. Listen, I'm going to put it to you like, if even Cardi B took a step back from Love and Hip Hop because the record label says so, that should tell you something. We have to be mindful of the information, even the information that we receive. You could be reading a good book, but the information in there may be completely off. You have to be an advocate for yourself. You have to pray and meditate to make sure that your mind is really spending the right amount of time being directed on that right thing. Remember, to think is to direct one's mind towards something or someone. So listen, girl boss, listen, CEO of this crave-worthy brand, listen, fabulous CEO. What do you spend your time thinking about? Do you spend your time thinking about what others are doing and constantly placing yourself in comparison? Are you constantly thinking about whether or not you are even going to be successful? Are you constantly thinking about if people are going to accept you? What are you thinking about? It is your time to take inventory of where your mind dwells. I have a very sweet friend that I really do love, but her mind only focuses in the area of worry. I mean, worry for everything. Worries about everything. And when she can't worry about that thing and that everything, then it goes to just straight fear. That is then what you become. And when you become so consumed by something that is not even designed for you, fear is not designed for you. If you read your Bible, this is not designed for you. You're not supposed to have a spirit of fear unless you fear God. That's it. That's the only thing you're supposed to fear. You're not supposed to have a spirit where you're constantly worrying and having anxiety. So when you are in this space where, you're really thinking about things that are frivolous, or it's taking you away from what God has in store for you. It is distracting you. It is a detour designed by the enemy. And I want you to understand that this is your time to step into your greatness. 2019, ain't nobody playing around. So let's talk about how we can begin to shift your mind to think about the things that are necessary for you. So the first thing we're going to do is I need you to ask yourself, what are you spending your time thinking about? Now, let me tell you how this is going to work for you. Ready? If you find that you are thinking about things that are very constructive meaning things that are allowing you to yield results, things that are allowing you to be productive, then that's good. Great. But when you find that you're spending extended amount of time in a space that is creating catabolic energy for yourself, I want you to write it down. So for instance, I'm going to take myself because, that's all we can do over here. I can only talk to myself. So let me tell you, for me, let's say, I think I shared yesterday a little bit about some insecurities I may have had about writing my book because I didn't think that I was that great of a writer. So if I find that as I'm creating and publishing more books that I'm in this space where I'm thinking negatively about what people are going to think when they read it, if I find that I'm, trying to push a book, but I'm like, oh God, I wonder what are people going to say? And if I find that I'm spending unnecessary time thinking that, I'm going to write it down. I just for a day, just write it down. All those things that are allowing you to think about something that's not allowing you to be productive. If you find that you're worrying about what people are going to say about you, write it down. If you're finding that you're thinking about whether or not your business is going to be successful, write it down. Anything that your mind is directed towards that's going to generate catabolic energy, which is negative energy, toxic energy, energy that can make you ill, all those things. Remember, what you think is what you become. So if you become ill-minded, if you become someone who thinks negatively, if you become a toxic thinker, then think about it. Like that's how are you going to be able to really operate in your purpose? You can't, because now you're becoming all these things that you've been thinking about. So I want you to take inventory and really write down any extended amount of time that you're having on negative thoughts. And you'll know, because it'll bring up really like uncomfortable feelings like self-doubt, insecurity, worry, anxiety, frustration, all that stuff. Write it down. Okay? Once you write down those things, I want you to see what is irrational about those things. And then I want you to go ahead and just begin to think about it and switch it into a positive light. Okay? But I really want you to take inventory, because not only do I want you to see what you're writing down, but I want you to see how much of it you're writing down. Also, not only taking inventory of those things that you think, but I also want you to take inventory of how much just frivolous time you spend on frivolous things. So if you're binge watching multiple, because you know I'm talking to myself, if you're binge watching multiple documentaries, because I just love to watch mad documentaries, if it's not giving you information that's going to allow you to build your business a lot better, if it's not teaching you something, ask yourself, what are you doing? And catalog it. When you're making that inventory of your thoughts, make that inventory of how you're spending your time. How you're spending your time and things you're taking in. Do you watch a lot of YouTubers? If so, capture it. How many YouTubers do you watch a day? How many hours a day do you spend on watching YouTube? Okay? So take down that information, please. So number one is taking inventory of what you're thinking that's negative, as well as what you are taking in that's negative. So that's negative. That's Ratchet TV. That's honestly any reality TV show that is just your show. Capture it. Any sitcom that's your show that you spend hours watching that particular show, please just write it down. This is for you to just take inventory and to see how you are spending your time and what you are putting into your mind, and be very conscious that when you are doing these things, you are planting a seed. Now, am I telling you that you can't watch TV ever? No, not at all. I would be a straight hypocrite if I said that. But what I want you to be mindful of, so for me, I love this one YouTuber, and I don't even want to say her name because like I would never want to do her, because I still love her to this day. But when I tell you, I love watching every darn episode she has. But I'm gonna tell you, your girl curses. She curses a lot. Sometimes that just rubs my spirit the wrong way, because she uses the F-bomb. I'm like, whew, why so harsh? But I find that I'm like, I can't even work. Like I'm all in my phone. Like, ooh, what else is going on? But it's like not necessary information. It's gossip about celebrities. Well, what? That has nothing to do with what I'm doing in my business. My business has nothing to do with celebrities. It has nothing to do with celebrity gossip. So what in the world? It's not intel. It's not helping me grow. So I had to be mindful that, you know what, when I'm working, because I have very, specific working hours, I do not burn both candles I do not burn my candle at both ends. I don't believe in burning the midnight hour. I'm too old for that. I got too many kids for all that. I need my full hours of sleep. There's things I've already sacrificed in my life, and I'm good on it, and now I need sleep. So if I'm working very specific hours, I can't then spend that time playing that mess in the background, because now I'm not just playing in the background, I'm sucked in. And now that's planting seeds. And now that's planting seeds of ratchicity in my head. I can't have it. Okay. So, but can I watch a TV show that makes me laugh? Absolutely. Can I watch a documentary every now and then? Absolutely. And every now and then, I mean, like, daily, but just one. Yes. I because I don't really watch live TV anymore. I'm like all about the Fire Stick. So yes, I can still watch TV, but I have to be very mindful of what things did I accomplish today that were intentional for me. I need you to know that. I need you to be very aware of it, because when it was sucking me in, I saw how much time was flying by and I wasn't getting things done, and that was not okay with me. So take your inventory and move to number 2. Spend time directing your mind on things that is going to be nourishment for your soul, nourishment for the way that you think, nourishment for your spirit, nourishment for your body. Spend time reading books. Spend time listening to audibles. Spend time listening to podcasts. Spend time with things that are going to feed you and that's going to allow you to be a better version of yourself. It's going to challenge the way that you think. It's going to allow you to think with a new lens. Definitely spend some time doing that. Thirdly, give your mind a timeout. What do I mean by that? Well, you're working nonstop. You're then constantly in this interaction, technology, screen, eye contact mode. So you're constantly taking in information at rapid amount of speed where it's like, it's crazy. I mean, I think I saw like 10,000 Oprah, happy birthday Oprah posts. Then I saw, I don't know how many different people's planners, because I'm part of like the planner addicts community. And then I think I was like looking at my friends, see what my girl boss friends are doing so I can cheer them on. I mean, you get so much information that comes through, and not to mention my emails that pop up, my text messages that pop up. I mean, there's just so much data, so much information that comes through that we need a break. That you're working, you're trying to meet deadlines, you're trying to just really crush goals, you're dealing with your family, you're raising kids, you're cooking dinner, you're cleaning your house. I mean, you need a break. And you can find those breaks and those very things we talked about, right? That meditation time, that quiet time where you're quieting your mind, clearing up the clutter, and allowing yourself to really, for me, that's not time to be used by God. Like, God, just use me. Just clear my mind of anything that is blocking me from being used. God, just use me. That's how I meditate. That's how I clear my mind. So you need to find a way to clear your mind, but you can't clear your mind with more clutter. You cannot give your mind a timeout by adding more neurological activity. You really need to be in a space where you are allowing your mind the opportunity to relax, refresh, and renew. Your brain needs a timeout. So with that, I hope that this Thursday you're able to find ways to really think about how you are directing your mind towards things and people and activities and just current events, and really taking inventory of whether or not these are things that are beneficial to your growth. So remember that the first thing you're going to do is take that inventory. Number 2, spend time in feeding your mind the right way. And number 3, give your mind a timeout. This is your girl, Nicole Doss. Have an awesome, wonderful, and most of all, blessed day. Bye.